Wait till we see our smiling faces on the screen. Thank you. There we go. Start with the roll call, starting on my right. We have
Richard Curry.
Margaret Pett.
Leon Axman.
Pete Belay.
John Gaspar.
Bob Cardinal.
All right. We have a quorum. We're just missing Frank. And then go on to C, approval of agenda. Any additions to the agenda? There's one under staff presentations, right? Frank?
Pete, I asked Jenny if we could add some, but I called her like 2 days or the day she was putting this out.
No, I had already, by the time I got your email, I had actually, Gina had taken it down to the mailroom.
Yeah, I know.
So please do add.
I know,
Yeah.
it was unfortunate.
Okay.
But I wanted to add 1325.
75?
1375?
Am I right?
25.
I think it's 7.
All right. I got to look. Is it 75 or 25?
You know what, look on our,
Let's all look on our
in our
phones.
packet,
Is it in our packet?
well,
You
we've
might
got.
be right.
We've got our list of properties.
You're right, you're probably right.
I don't know. I don't know.
1375.
1375. Dang, I should have bet. All right, 1375. It would be curious to see what 1325 is, though. My house. Yeah. 1375, and that's under what? Commission
H-
presentations? Yep. So, Bob, in case you're wondering, 1375 is the Gladstone House. So if everybody's going, what's 1375? Oh, I lost my pen. So, okay, any other additions to the agenda? Anyone? No? I think that's sounds good. Any Maplewood Area Historical Society coming? No. Steve, I know Bob can't come. Okay.
The only thing that we got coming up is a tea.
All right, well, we'll mention that then somewhere in there.
For it tomorrow.
Huh?
I'm gonna cook for it tomorrow,
Oh,
so
then we're
hey.
good. Okay.
Do you want to add that to staff presentations
Yeah,
then?
let's add that to staff. M-A-H-S.
I'm sorry, I meant to commission
or
presentations.
Commission presentations.
Sorry. H2.
Page. Margaret, you could probably talk about it then.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
I'd love to.
Yeah. So Margaret, commission presentation. Got my dead pen. So, okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Margaret might have beat that one. There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we got an agenda. Next, minutes. Everybody who brought their packets, not like me, can check out the minutes again. I didn't see anything need to be changed, but that doesn't mean.
I'll move minutes, approval of the minutes.
Mr. Curry moves the approval of the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Bob seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have minutes. Moving on to E1, new business, the 2018 demolition report.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Each year, we invite our building official to come and give us the demolition report. So I'm happy that Jason Brash is here with us tonight, and we're going to put some slides on the overhead, and so he can go through the report with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and Commission. Just had maybe a few tidbits to add
your
as we go
mic
through
on?
this report.
Yeah, I can't.
A little better?
There we go.
All right. Let's see if we get these slides up.
Let's see.
Oh, there we go. So just went through our files on some of these demolitions and tried to find out a little information on the properties. This house in 1905 Radats was built in 1947, about 1,100 square feet.
What was the reason for demolishing, or do you have that? Or was that house that they made for a handicapped?
Yes, they did. They did remove some, or they did rebuild some houses in that area. I'll be honest with you, I don't believe that was the same address for the new structure. I couldn't tell you the reason why it was tore down for that one.
It wasn't a fire.
No, it was not a fire.
Is it correct that typically if it's due to fire, that will appear on the permit, or?
Yes, a lot of
Yeah.
times we'll note that on our demo permit if it's fire damage.
I see another one on here that wasn't listed in the printout.
Yes, so there was in the list that you have within your memo, one of the buildings is not listed in the list, but it is in the photographs, and it is also included in the annual report. Mr. Brash will cover that.
Okay. We'll move on to the next one here. The Wakefield Warming House. I found that it was built in 1966. It's about a 400 square foot structure. The value for the permit at the time was $4,000. The new structure going in place is just a little over 3,000 square feet, and I think probably around a couple $1 million plus. So definitely a little difference from the old to the new, but a little nicer features for sure.
I'll tell you what, that thing sure was used aplenty for 50 years, so.
Sure, looks like a nice place to go skating
Built like a tank.
for sure.
We'll continue to have ice, correct? Will we continue to have ice? So
We'll see
I'm
about that.
teasing. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. He's our climatologist.
Oh, okay.
so.
The 2567 Plaza Circle, we didn't have any records really of that structure as far as the year goes. It looks like it's probably a 60s style manufactured home. And I believe they just pulled that out to put in a newer house, but not a brand new structure.
Where is that, Pete?
Town and Country.
Okay. So it's by the,
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
Town and
61.
Country was, when I was on the fire department, we're pulling a lot of their older ones out, making a wider lot, bigger mobile home park.
So then 3088 White Bear Avenue, the Baker Square. Looking through the files on that, there was a house in place in 1956. They removed that structure and put in a Chester's Family Restaurant in 1973. Became a Baker Square in 1989. And then now with the demo, they're making it a strip mall with three spaces, a Sprint store, Aspen Dental, and a Tono's Pizza and Cheesesteak. Soon to come. And then the one that was on the list here, the 1772 Sylvan, didn't have a whole lot of info for that other than it was built in 1959, a little over 1,000 square feet. I believe St. Paul Water acquired the property and removed the house just to leave it vacant, so.
okay.
Yeah, I went there this morning, and I thought, looked like the garage, but I think St. Paul Water has a pipeline under that, on that side going out to Dale.
Sure. And then the 2965 White Bear Avenue, the Bremer Bank. Looking through the files, it started off as a Midwest Federal Savings and Loan. Then it changed names to American National Bank. And then First Star Bank. Then the Bremer Bank. And then now they're building a new Panera restaurant in that place.
You have the year it was built?
I do not. I couldn't find the exact year. I believe it was in the 80s somewhere.
Yeah, because that was the Twin City Federal, they used to, or not Twin City Federal, Midwest Federal, with the big oak tree on the top.
Okay.
And that's all I have for structures. There's still some on the list for pools and garages, but we don't have much for documentation for that. A lot of the garages was just, you see the one at 958 Connor was the fire damage that is an attached garage. They rebuilt and fixed the home. The pool I don't have really any info for, and the other garages were expansions or adding a different garage in a different location. So that's what I have for the demo report for 2018.
You know, I remember a fire in Town and Country in the past year. Was that wasn't that one that they moved out of there, is it?
No, that's not. I believe that might have been 2017 on, if my memory is right, Mediterranean. I can't recall if the street's
Got to check the
Mediterranean or
Huh?
Mediterranean Street or something in
Okay.
2017, I believe.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate the extra detail in the years built. It's nice to know, you know. And I love the better pictures, not Google shots. These are much better.
Good.
You know, better for the record because you know we always get questions. What used to be here?
Sure.
And this really helps us out trying to track down, just having the pedigree of the Baker Square building is pretty interesting,
What happens to the photographs?
Which one?
What happens to the photographs after today? Are they kept?
Photographs are just in our history, are just on shared drives under a history folder, under demolition reports.
So
Sorry.
You're not
Oh, you're not
miking.
So the photographs that are in your packet tonight will be on our shared drives it's a history drive under demolition reports, so it'll be, several years' worth of demolition reports with the photos right there.
Someday we'll have to do a complete collection of demo photos or something, ever since the start. So we have, I don't know what we can do with it, but,
Yeah.
Give it to the Area Historical Society or something. Because are they saved beyond the rendition schedule? Is I guess. Is it going to be saved after 5 years? Are these on?
Yeah, it's in an active, they're saved somewhere that's active right now.
Okay.
Okay, so they're not scheduled for deletion.
Okay.
They're not stored away, but they're backed up.
Okay. All right.
Pete?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to, this might be something for the future. I was down at Sears, I was telling Minnesota Department, or Historical Society, had a guy there taking pictures of, he went through the whole building and then taking pictures of people that were in there, documenting their closing.
Yes, and
Somebody-
you raise a good point, Richard, about that. As I wish we got to do a better job documenting before they lock the doors on some of these places, and that's kind of a goal of 2019. I'll have is document more. It's nice to know after it's torn down, but it'd be nice to know. Well, gosh, it'd been great to get an interior picture of that, before they're already gone. So Sears is a good example. I wish I would have got to our Maplewood Sears before they closed, but you think about it great after it, but.
I worked in it,
You worked in it.
and
So-
I had the cell phone and I never took the,
Never took a
Yeah.
picture. Take pictures, Richard. All right. Well, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, of course, but it's up to you.
We are looking for a motion to approve the report.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the report.
I'll second.
Okay, motion second. Any further discussion? Any other questions?
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Not sure if I'm looking forward to a longer list next year or not, but it's good to have the details
Short list.
on it, so.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you. All right, where's my here? Moving on to E2, the 2018 Heritage Preservation Commission Annual Report. Staff.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Each year, the HPC presents an annual report to City Council, and tonight before you, you have a draft of the report. And so we'll go through it page by page, and if you want to comment on it page by page, we can, or I can go through the whole report and then you can comment. I think it's easy enough page by page.
Yeah.
It's mine.
It's hers.
Yours and mine. Okay. So page 1, we start out with the purpose, and then we show a few highlights. And then what I chose to put on as highlights were our videos for this year, the application to designate the Ramsey County Cemetery. I thought that was a big one for us. The hosting of the Gladstone event, A Trip Through Time, and the Heritage Award presentation to Stephen Carlson. Page 2 of the report has a photograph of our members and everybody's name on it. We also list the term dates, so those were updated for this year. And then we list our preservation programs and what structures are preserved under those programs. Page 3 is more specific reviews and accomplishments that we've done, and so we'll go through these pretty quickly. So one is we maintained our CLG status, our Certified Local Government status. We did the Heritage Award to Steve. Local designation, we prepared the report for the Ramsey County Cemetery, and so that's still an ongoing project, but just pulling the report together was a significant amount of work. A Trip Through Time, we celebrated the Gladstone Savannah opening. We did the Gladstone Shops video. We did the Wakefield Remembered, both the get-together and the video. For our project reviews last year, these things came before the council, before the commission. We reviewed interpretive signs for Gladstone Savannah. We reviewed proposed landscape changes for the Broontrop Farm. We did a final review of the Historical Resources chapter of the 2040 comp plan. And we did preliminary section 106 information. We reviewed some of the preliminary information on the Gold Line bus rapid transit. We've recognized the buildings that were demolished last year. Frank Gilbertson and I attended the State Preservation Conference, which is a requirement for our CLG status. Commissioner Axman represented the HPC at the Rush Line Bus Rapid Transit Station meetings. And then page 4 will be our goals once we determine what our goals are for this year. I do want to share a couple photographs with you. The sign at Conifer Ridge, remember this farm to city sign? We actually approved that. That sign was done last year, but they finally installed it this year. So I wanted to show it to you. I think it's really effective. Looks pretty good.
That's nice.
Yeah. So sometime go out and visit it. It's right off the Lake Links Trail there. And then I wanted to just share with you some of the photographs from the Gladstone event because I don't think we saw them. When right after the event, they weren't in the correct folder on our H drive. But here's everybody assembling, coming together for the little kickoff there. We had our stilt ladies out there. This was our first station. Thank you, John. He helped man this booth. This was a craft booth. The signs were a big feature. You can see the little guy here is holding his, clutching his scavenger hunt. So that was a lot of fun. So all ages, we're checking out those signs. Here's our history tent with Mr. Jensen, Mr. Boulet, and
Oh,
Mr.
yeah,
Axman.
Yeah, Pete's holding the tent down.
I see we have a lot of folks that could be conductors on our commission and
Yes.
society. So,
We bring a lot of experience.
yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't have the proper clothing, we can provide that. Here we had hats and bandanas out. We had our Nature Center staff out there doing pollinators with kids and adults, and they found some cool stuff. And we had Kid City out there with their large puppets, or kites, whichever you want to call them. It was a very popular station for the kids. And then this went in later. So this was the sign for the playground. So it's both the same signs. The first one is just so you can see it more of in a landscape. It's fitted right into the playground, Gloucester Station, once upon a time long ago, and then the kids spin the cubes to put together 3 different pictures. Okay. So that was it for the annual report. Did we miss anything? Is anything inaccurate?
Maybe just put in, I mean, it's probably going to be going there, but a picture of Steve.
It's in, yeah, so we
It's in the
had one
digital
on,
but not in here, so I was.
well, we had one, I think, on page 2.
that where it
Oh,
is?
was there?
You just have a colored picture of, or a blank deal.
Yeah, it just says
Steve.
Stephen Carlson. So
Oh,
it
he
should-
didn't, I thought we got the picture of him in there. on-
No.
I think it's supposed to go in there. The one that
Yeah,
you had.
yeah. Yeah, I like, that's a good idea. And there's a slight possibility on the goals page, we may change a few of the pictures.
I really like the graphics for Wakefield Remembered in the Gladstone shops. They should have postcards made out of those things or
Very
something.
cool.
I don't know. It's the artwork's great. Anybody else see anything? Oh, it's a lot there. We were busy. Remember anything else? Did we have anybody doing presentations last year?
I think just commissioners,
Just commissioners? Okay, I
Did-
couldn't remember if we had anybody
I
special.
think
coming.
Bob and I and you and Frank.
I probably was there. That was when we went in. They looked at it. They didn't say anything. We walked. I was to 4 different meetings where we had reports, and the council never called on any.
Oh, I mean, like a special guest to talk.
Speakers.
Did we have anything?
No.
No, not last year.
Um,
Usually we had somebody. And I'm
we
trying-
didn't have an outside speaker, but I know Bob and I did something, and
Okay.
Pete, I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I
I'm pretty
probably
sure
did one.
Frank did,
Okay.
so.
Well, we'll have to get one. If we didn't have one in a year, we'll have to find somebody. I'd love to have Gary Bastian come talk about the Gladstone House. Now that I know he helped Donna Funk out there, that would be a good one to have if he's ever available. That would be. I think that'd be kind of
He's
fun.
come once before to
He has.
speak.
He has spoken before, so I think that'd be a. Yeah, I forgot that he was part of. I don't know exactly what he did, but
I looked at,
not sure what he did there. Part of the catering, helping with the
Yeah.
catering somehow. But
Next door.
was that okay? That would help. Okay. But I don't see any other changes unless anybody else does. I'd make a motion to approve it with as amended with a picture, I guess, of Steve.
A second.
In a second, okay.
who was the second? John? I didn't catch the second.
John seconded it. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the 2018 annual report, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Looks great. Now the council gets this, right?
So the chair typically will come and present it to council. So once we have approved our goals, whether we do that, it'll depend whether we do that tonight or our next meeting.
Okay.
Then we would schedule for the next council meeting.
Okay. All right. So moving right along then to E3, list of potential historic structures and sites. Well, there has to be some changes to this, that's for sure.
Yes, so in your packet, there's a list that the commission prepared in May 14th of 2015. And so I felt it was time to try to update this, see if anything's missing or about to be missing, if there's anything else that's come to mind. And this will help us in the future as we move forward and are starting to look at what do we want to designate next, So with that, I'm going to just turn it over to the chair and see if anybody's has changes to that.
I got a couple changes under private on, I guess, the next page. Henning's Cabins. That's what I couldn't remember. Was Henning's Cabins, was that 2018 or 2017?
Demolition report last year. Yeah.
So that should be removed off the list.
Oh, that one cabin on the cabins on 61 right
Yeah,
there?
that-
Yeah, they've been removed a couple of years.
Well, I don't think it's been that-
2017, I think it was
17.
last year's report.
Yeah, last year's report, but they shouldn't be on our list anymore.
Right, right.
So they should be gone. The cocktail sign should be removed. Even though I think the physical sign is there, all the ornaments have been removed from it.
So I think I'll move both of those down to lost structures.
Lost structures, yep. What's origination?
Oh,
Right below-
that's bulk storage.
Oh, the
bulk
bulk
storage.
storage? Okay. The
Where
big
is-
bulk storage.
Where is that?
Right underneath cocktail sign?
Okay.
Origination?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Well, I can see why they painted it and took the stuff off of it.
Well, it's advertising a cocktail place. And it isn't a
Clock,
cocktail.
that's not there.
Yeah, it's not there.
But the
yeah.
form is there, and they probably have all the workings
So
behind it.
What's origination? Is that? Do you remember what that is?
So they do storage and.
Oh, that is the bulk
that's
storage
bulk
place.
storage,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Just north of Maryland.
Yep. That should be on there. Anybody see anything that should not be on there? Or moved, I guess I should say moved.
And then staff had a couple questions in the in our packet for you.
Okay.
I think I'd like to add some text to this. I suggested some text for the top of the, let's see. To suggest language about what the list is all about. I think it's really important that we clarify that these are not designated sites, but these are sites that are important to us and may have historic value. So in your packet, language is suggested to add to this list. Properties over 50 years old may be considered historic. There are many of those in Maplewood. As a city, Maplewood is interested in identifying sites that have historic significance. To determine that, a structure or site must meet Department of Interior criteria for historic significance and for historic integrity. Only 4 of the 5 properties on this list have undergone this type of review. The list therefore refers to potential historic structures and sites that might be significant historically and would be good candidates for historic review or study.
No, it's good to put more explanation in there, I suppose.
And then staff is suggesting that we, right up at the top, have indicate our National Register properties and our Maplewood Heritage Landmark properties.
Yeah, I would pull out the Ramsey County Poor Farm Barn. The National Register should be
Yeah.
the first thing listed above everything else, because we don't have to do anything with that one.
No.
I mean, it's done, basically, so.
And then under that, we would pull out our Maplewood Heritage sites, which are the Bruntrop Farm and the Gladstone Savannah.
Because it's no longer a potential historic site, it already is, right?
Right, correct.
So,
And then I would suggest that we also just put a little explanation. We also have Century Homes and what that program is. It's just homes that are over 100 years old. They may or may not be significant, but they're of interest.
I guess the one I'm not sure I'd keep on there is the fire truck. Although it is a historical item, it's not fixed. It can be moved. So how would you,
They're
Features?
working on getting it so it can be moved.
well, that's,
Structures, sites, and features,
yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe.
artifacts. I'm not sure how we do that.
Yeah, that's a tough
I
one.
mean, do you want to keep it on the
don't
list
know.
and just,
I'll leave it open to the commissioners
Really?
here.
But I would think, I was looking at this list, then have we notified any of these owners that we would like their thing put on our list?
Well, I think we've talked to some of them.
Just an open blank or
we don't,
informative letter type of deal? So
some-
it gets them thinking that, hey,
Well, you know what? I bet you about half of them are covered under when we did the Century Homes. They all got notified. So that would include the Edgerton School and the Carver Lake School and the Frost House and you know, you start looking through here, they all have one time or another been notified that they're on our list, so to speak. You know, Tubman Center's got to know.
From the top down. The thing is, I've heard somebody told the one that had the Edgerton school that it wasn't worth putting on the list from somebody here. The Edgerton, which is down on
Which list are you talking about?
the Edgerton.
I mean, it's on the Century Home list.
No, they're on that too, I think. 'Cause
Okay.
they changed the old school to a home.
Yeah.
But they were, I think at one point, they were willing to put it on historical, and somebody told them it wasn't.
Oh,
It had too many
It's been altered, I know
altered
that,
a
but,
lot, but
I
basically
wonder,
the structure is the same.
I don't ever remember them coming to us, though, and
Neither.
trying
Yeah,
to,
but it might have been somebody telling them outside of here.
well,
of the meeting.
it's on our list, so I mean, there's not much more we can do with it. It's on potential sites for National Register listing. I don't know how much more we could put it on there.
Once again, that specifically was recommended by the consultant that did the contacts list. So that's why those are pulled out, because
Okay.
those were the ones that our consultant felt were most important in the city.
Well, if they're interested, they can always come to us, and we're willing to work with them. So if do you know the people that live there?
Bob and I went to school with the one,
Well,
and I know
sounds
who-
like you got
I
a
know who
workings of a 2019
I know
goal.
who told her that it wasn't worth putting on the list.
Well,
And I'm not gonna reveal that person here.
I guess we can look into it further. I don't know much about it other than the picture I've seen in the Ramsey County write-up on it. I don't know anything else about it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Guess we'll have to revisit that one a little bit. There's some history written up about it. I know that because it dealt with the transfer of the cemetery property, right? And they had to move the school off the cemetery property, and that's how it wound up on Edgerton where it is now. Because it used to be on the corner, and Forest Lawn wanted the property, and they did a swap with the district to get the property. And then they built the new, well, not new school, but the second school on the corner there.
Yeah, but this was.
It's been moved, I know that.
The original house is down.
Yeah, that was what was moved from the original site. I don't know. We could revisit this at another time. This is a good topic, and if you haven't seen a picture of it, it is an
I don't
interesting
want to
picture.
embarrass the one that said it.
Okay, well, anyway, this would be a fun little story. If they're willing to help us out with the history of the house, if they, I'd like to hear more. If they have the abstract, I'd like to hear, how did the property ownership go from the school district to private? It's just like the Carver one, there's a story there. So anyway, any other comments on, I guess one thing that will be more highlighted would be the bridge number 7. If the gold line goes through, that one we'll have to take a closer look at. That might have to move up on a priority list.
And the
for us.
other thing that I heard, they're planning on putting an apartment complex over in that area.
Not on the bridge, I'm guessing.
No,
I don't know.
no, north of Costco.
Huh?
I think you're referring to the one north of
Near-
Costco.
Oh, north of Costco? Oh, on the, okay.
on
But
the
they could
open land.
do some finagling there.
As far as I know, the gold line would go right through where the bridge number 7 is. So, where's our gold line expert? Are you the gold line expert?
No,
Rick?
that's not Gold Line. That's the purple
Oh,
line.
what line is it?
Rush City.
Rush
line.
City
the
doesn't have
Rush.
a color. Don't they have a color yet? No.
I don't know.
Paisley.
The gold,
Paisley line.
Pete, the Gold Line is 3M.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Sorry. I meant the Rush line.
The Rush line has about 6 more years of study. I believe.
Okay. Well,
It's a
so we got some
ways away.
time. We have some time.
Yes.
You won't be around.
I'm planning to be here. Oh, well, you guys.
Better be.
Gosh, I hope I'm still here in 6 years. I hope all you guys are here in 6 years. Come on.
You never know.
Your terms don't expire for a long time, you know.
I mean, the study is 6
The study is 6 years.
Mine expires this year.
Well, my feeling is when they start those studies, we'll have to revisit that. And I think Bob Jensen has a lot of information on it too. There was a whole student report right up on it too. And there's a great sign there too.
As part of the study, there is a historian on the project, so they will be reviewing all of that. Yeah.
So that would be good to kind of highlight a little bit, since it'll get more talk, I'm thinking.
They're up in White Bear tonight.
Okay. Any other parks should be on the list? I know we got some of them, but why exclude other parks? You know, I mean, this really, there should be a site story with just about all the parks, right?
So, I mean, we don't even have to put parks, but what are really our most important parks? It'd be great to have a history of every park.
I don't see
But
why
are
we
they
shouldn't.
significant historically, and should 35, 45, 50 parks be listed on here? I don't know. I think the purpose of this was, we value our property, but which are the ones with the most significant history?
You could go to the one up at Cypress there, that was the city dump,
Weren't they all?
basically.
Coleman? That was a city dump. Actually, I wouldn't mind expanding the park list a bit. I mean, we don't have to put all 50, but I'm going to guarantee you 10 years from now, if we had a history of all 50 parks, somebody'd be very happy. Like, oh,
That's an excellent, that's
I
an
like it.
excellent project.
yes. I interviewed somebody about Coleman Park already. And when it was a dump, the rats were so bad they were chasing neighborhood kids around. That's how bad it was. And they finally said, enough is enough. We're getting rid of the dump. So we drive by Coleman today. Within people that are still around, remember the rats there. So that's how much it's changed. So that's the history. You know, every park has a story, I'm sure. Even parks that have vanished. There's the lost parks of Maplewood. You know, there's a Gladstone Park is gone. Gloucester Park
Park
is
is gone.
almost gone, right?
Yep.
So, Gloucester Park alone would be a nice little story. Because somehow that property became a park. And why did it become a park? And why did it go away?
Because developers were told they had to put a
Well,
park in their development.
Some of these go way before that. You know, that's modern. I'm talking Gladstone Park wasn't there because some developer had to put it in there. It was there from a
It was
very long
because of
time.
Gladstone Redevelopment
Well,
Committee.
Well, yeah. How far back? So anyway, if anybody's got a pet park, I guess I'll throw Coleman Park on there. Trying to think any. I'd love a South Leg Park on there.
Thompson Park,
Where's Thompson Park?
that's part of the
Is
waterworks.
that the one they have a fence in front of now? Okay, there's a good one. Thompson Park. Trying to think, there's got to be some good stories in some parks. You know,
Well, Beer Can Hill or whatever they call that, remember?
Keller.
Yeah, well, on the 61 there.
Okay, I'll put.
Yeah, they got the lights, all they have to do is put the road back up there.
I'm sorry, what is the park called?
It's part of Keller, but it's what they blocked off 61 and.
So it's on here, it's on the list as Keller?
Yeah, it's on the list
List
as
as
Keller,
Keller. Okay.
but that'd be a good. I think Bob Jensen has a lot of history on that too. No, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's good.
That'd be a good one.
Department used to have their picnics up there.
Yeah. Ginny, being part of the parks, do you have any ideas
So,
for
well,
parks?
I love all the open space sites, but to me, I'm not quite sure where the commission is going with this. I can just attach a list of all our parks, if that's what you want me to do.
The Nature
What-
Center is another place.
Well, I was gonna say nature center.
Nature Center's an obvious
Is the
one.
nature center on there? Should be on there somewhere.
Nope, we're not 50 years old yet. Okay, so
Oh,
part of the thing was,
Oh, are they 50
What-
years old? Is
no,
that-
they are not, 40. They're 40,
40?
Yeah.
Wow.
last year.
Oh, okay.
I think you'd be safe if you put parks on there. We can weed out,
All right.
you know,
I'll just attach a list
Attach
of
a
all our
list of
parks
parks.
and just put, here are
Yeah.
Maplewood Parks. And I think it's an excellent idea to someday, next
I
year.
kinda like this.
To put on the goals list, just to let's start digging into the history of the parks and write a little paragraph on each park.
So just, there might come a day when we eliminate some of those parks.
It's already happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm just going to attach a list of parks. I'm not going to pull anything out of the hat. If we ever decide to work with them and do stories, we can figure out which ones are most interesting to people.
I think a future book on Maplewood's parks might come out of this someday.
That'd be great.
Just in time for the 70th.
Well, that's too soon.
The 70th anniversary?
Yeah, Park Department wouldn't be able to get all that together.
Oh,
at
no,
that
that's
time.
all right.
It's only
Well-
8 years.
Any other things on here?
It's a little
Is
joke.
there anything? Well, the Keller Creek Dam is still there, but the falls. I don't think there's anything left at the falls, right? No. You know the falls that Janice Quick presented to us once.
Oh, I
It's
don't remember that.
upstream of the dam. There used to be a falls. It was a water pump falls though.
Okay.
So I don't know.
They took that out a long time ago.
Oh yeah, I'm wondering is things that are gone. Maybe we should have them under an active list. So the dam is okay, but the falls maybe put under the lost list because I don't want people to think there's still a falls there anymore.
Hey, Pete,
Yes, sir.
so we're putting down Maplewood Parks, but the island across from the golf course,
Oh, on Keller Lake,
19th hole.
a golden spot.
Goldens was there.
Yeah.
you know. There'd be some history there.
Bob's got that good.
Oh, he does?
Yes, when they constructed the island.
Okay.
It's in one of the. They published a whole story on it in their little newsletter.
That'd be good.
That'd be good. We'll have to ask. Bob.
Lubin's property there.
Huh?
Lubin's.
Oh,
property.
Lubin's. Yes. Yep.
Back in '67, they were supposed to turn that into a nature center, sculpture garden, what have you.
Any other? I mean, I know we've really marked this up already. So
No, this is good. This is great.
I-
I'll clean that up and give people copies of that.
yeah. Now we could say updated in 2019, right?
Yeah.
So no more 2015 stuff. Right? Okay, well, anybody's got anything else, I guess, is there going to be another list we could look at before we decide, or is it?
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to bring this back to the commission. If
Okay.
you decide when we set the goals that you're going to do another, designate another site, I think we should look at this list at that point in time to see which site we want to work on. So we'll bring it back to the next commission meeting.
Okay. So we don't have anything to do right now on it? We're not, okay. Anything else on E3? Just keep sending your suggestions to Ginny.
Yeah. I can take them up until the next
You
meeting.
drive through town, you see something,
Yeah.
you know, say, hey, what about that thing? You know. Okay, E4 then, 2019 goals. We got goals, lots of goals.
So tonight, we can start talking about our 2019 goals. We don't have to approve them tonight. We can let them rest if we want. So just let's take a look at a couple things. Some goals that we may want to carry over from last year. We're submitting the grant. I never got the grant in, and that really would be to continue to do additional survey work. So we can talk about that when we're setting our goals, exactly what we think that might be. Complete text and review sign for Lookout Park. You know, we have a good start on it, but there just wasn't quite enough to make it into a sign. So we're just looking for a little bit more if we want to finish that. Complete designation of the Ramsey County Cemetery. So that's in progress. We're hoping that will go to Ramsey County Parks, their Parks Commission. Other goals that the commission may want to consider, these are things that have come up during the past year, people have mentioned them. Videos, our communications department, they did some nice work for us last year on the history videos. I think they're not getting a lot of clicks, so so I think what they really, I don't think, when you take a look at the YouTube, take a look, share them.
Share.
Share them, yeah. So I think their whole thought was maybe they want to incorporate history into other videos they're doing. So it might not be just a focused video, but they think they're probably going to do a Gladstone area video because so much is going on in Gladstone.
Yeah.
And so they would, if they're doing that, they would love to do part of the walking tour pieces that we had talked about. They're probably going to do something else on Wakefield, and they would incorporate some of the history that we've given them on Wakefield. So I think, a goal potentially could be just to support the communications department with history information on any videos that they're doing that might be important to us as a history commission. This was one of Frank's. He had liked the idea of a walking tour or an auto tour, a self-guided tour. A lot of communities have done this. We've talked about that in the past, but it's never made it onto our goals list. Mr. Boulet's been talking about, maybe it's time to really document the history of the important buildings in the Gladstone area. Century Homes, when we did that program a couple years ago, we decided as a commission we would do it every 2 to 5 years. So, that's on the table. Is that time, or do we want to, does every 5 years feel like a good time frame for that? Last year, we took on a project with Maplewood Area Historical Society, and that was the Gladstone event. Our Nature Center is going to do an event at Gladstone again this year, so there's a potential to partner on that with them and the society again if the commission wanted to partner with the society on a project. A call for photos. This was interesting. A couple photos came across my desk from a neighborhood that was being developed in '67. There were 0 trees. Everything was just going in. It was pretty cool. And I thought it's something the commission could call for photos. You could pick a theme or a certain era and call for photos just to help get more photos into the society, into our records and the society's records. So it could be a fun thing, and they could be it could be published in the news, in the city newsletter. Let's see. Did I not have on here? I think our number one goal is to designate a news site. I really think the committee has to continue working on that and try to do that every year. Yeah. So here's some of the things that we've heard over the past few, several months, just ideas, but it's completely open to the commission. The other thing we heard tonight was the possibility of starting to document the history of our parks. So with that, I'll turn it back to the commission to talk about what goals you would like for 2019. And once again, we can pull together preliminary lists, let them sit for a month, and come back and revisit them and see if they still seem like the right ones next month.
I have an idea for the Lookout Park sign. I see that's one of the ongoing. The historical Maplewood Historical Society has the 1936 aerial. That would have the area where I think Lookout Park would be. So it kind of made me, when I saw the sign that was done for the Conifer Ridge,
Yeah.
there is something similar. If
Yeah.
you looked at that, because they have the original of that, and it's very sharp. You could do a circle where Lookout Park is. I'm not sure if you can see it in there. I think you can.
Yeah,
but-
so let's get on the goals list. I think
Yeah,
you've
that's
got
the
some
goal.
nice ideas.
Yep.
The other idea for that had been to pull some neighborhood history, not just focused on Lookout Park.
Yeah.
And Charwaza had a lot of wonderful pictures from, I don't know exactly what era it was, but those are in the Historical Society archive.
Pete, I got one.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah.
What do you got?
I think we should try and identify the oldest living resident
Oh.
of
Oh,
Maplewood.
that's good.
There you go. Yeah, You have any candidates?
I do.
You do?
At
I thought you
Maplewood,
might.
at Maplewood Care Center, or I think, what is it, on Roselawn there?
Oh,
They
that's
got-
the Maplewood Care Center.
What's
That's
it called?
It's
Good Samaritan?
Good Samaritan, yes. There's plenty of old people there.
Okay.
And there's probably some 100-year-old people there. But that would be fun to do something like that.
Okay.
Just go to all the nursing homes.
Are you going door to door then, Bob?
You
Over
get
there. I do go
your
over
mind
there.
together.
But I think that'd be there's probably several nursing homes that we could approach, but, and then residents. But that'd be something to look for. Who's the old, so we've had, Shar was like 96, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that'd
Well,
be.
who's the oldest person in the society right now?
Al,
Al Galbraith? I haven't talked to him lately, though.
No,
he's up in-
he's at the Ramsey
He's at
home.
Ramsey, though.
yep.
Yeah. I,
His wife sees him every day.
oh, okay.
Yep. So there might be somebody up there, but that'd be fun.
That'd be
right?
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Sounds like a good goal. There's quite a few candidates I can think of that might be in there.
Right.
It's a good one.
So that'd be Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
that'd be that all the residents of Maplewood could participate
could.
in.
That's right. Yeah.
Nominate the oldest that you know.
Nominate the oldest resident? Oh, that could be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. So get thinking, everybody. You know.
You and I and here, well, there's quite a few of us that are up in that age now where we can call ourselves old.
Right at that 60-year-old level, except for Pete.
Well,
Pete, you'd have to wait a
I
while.
have to wait a while. Ask me again someday. That's good, though. That'd be a good one. I have to think about it a bit. Know a lot of 90-ish
Yeah.
people.
That's one that you could have what do they call it, a one-upmanship?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Jeez, I have to think of that. Also the monastery.
Yeah.
So I think if you're talking about designating sites, I think that should be a goal, but we should start fresh at our next, with that as an item to decide
would
what
say
one
it's
we want to do. But I think the goal list should include designate one new site.
Oh, you mean, yeah, that's, we kind of got off to another, we started going through the potential goals, I guess. But yeah, a site, now the one historic site you're talking about, that's the cemetery right now, right?
So right now, I kind of think of this, 2018 was when we really did the hard work on the cemetery, so that application's in, we're going to let that process ride, but I'm encouraging the commission to start a new site this year,
Well-
start the designation process, not to pick that site tonight, I think we really have to be thoughtful about that, and that needs to come back to you in a memo, that was part of the reason why I wanted to redo the list of structures. So if you end up with a goal of designating another new site, we can tackle that in the next few months.
Mr. Chair.
Yes. Mr.
So
Cardinal?
we went back to our list.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is here.
E3?
E3, okay. So we have identified sites, right?
Yeah, talk up.
Right, so, Mr. Chair,
Yes. Mr. Cardinal.
are you suggesting we pick one site?
Yes, for designation, to take it through local designation or
Okay.
National Register.
Okay.
If it's National Register, we need a grant to have a professional do the work on it.
Okay.
I'm suggesting that we don't pick a site tonight, that we
Yeah.
just say, we're committed to doing this, let's get it on the goal list, and let's be thoughtful about it and bring it back in a memo.
I would suggest just looking at local designation. Once we get a quantity, then we can go and take it one step, because the general work will be done with the local. Then we just have to add on to it the national.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Colonel?
So Jenny doesn't want us to pick one tonight, but I think we've got them. They're here.
Oh, you
The
mean-
list is here.
See one that stands out? in
Yeah, the
particular?
first one.
Oh, the mausoleum?
Some
Well,
real history there.
yeah.
Real deep
We had
history.
we had a willing partner at one time there.
Yeah, the guy that runs it.
Is he still there?
Hogan.
Same guy?
Pat Hogan.
Yeah, Pat's still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As of
Yeah.
It's
Monday,
up to you.
and there was some talk at the society about doing an event there.
Oh, well, yeah, I would say that's always been on.
Mysterious site. You know,
It is a
isn't it?
mysterious site.
Yeah.
There's some good history in that location too. So, yeah, that'd be.
Bruce Fennell's
And there's
buried
still sites available in there.
there. Yeah, Bruce Fennell's buried in that cemetery.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I remember the day that happened, we couldn't get out of our neighborhood.
Oh, I suppose.
It was FBI and Secret Service and Maplewood and state troopers, helicopters.
Yeah.
We had the president or vice president in the neighborhood.
So I'm
that
sorry, Mr. President, that.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair,
Don't-
Chair, that
yeah.
we identified one, but I don't think we want to overlook the importance of that.
I have no problem with that one. That's what does the rest of the commissioners think?
I might add that last time we did it, we picked 4 because we knew not everybody was going to be interested. We don't need to pick 4, but just so you, and it's fine to just pick the one, and if it doesn't pan out, you can move on. You can always try another one
Oh, we
later.
could do multiple. Maybe we'll get multiple lucky and have 2 of them in 1 year. Catch up.
One, you,
No,
Mr.
we're not.
Chair.
But we're just talking about it.
But
right?
we should get some input from our architect here,
Yeah.
what he thinks.
Yeah. What architecturally significant item do you see in there that would be a good one?
We should look at which one has the possibility of being torn down first, so we don't lose it before you can use
okay.
it.
On the top of the list there, I don't see anything there that's in danger. As far as I know.
No.
No, those are all safe.
Yeah.
More or less for now.
What's your other criteria?
One that you know if the people would be more agreeable with to go along.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I like the monastery.
You do
idea.
see, so we were lobbying there for that
Huh?
one,
Yeah.
right?
We tried to do the monastery before.
They never, ever responded, so we can always try again. But
again.
it's whatever you guys,
Yes. No?
whichever site you decide.
I mean,
to work
obviously,
on.
the first, the list, the hot list is the top list. You know, that's all the ones that Ramsey County has good start on documentation. Every one of those was written up in their study. So we have a 2-pager on each one already. So, and their thoughts on what they, I think all of them are on there, except for the monastery. I don't know if the monastery was on that list or not, but the rest of them were. So,
Yeah, but the monastery did, I think, some of that on their own when they went to change it over.
Yes, there's a very detailed report on the monastery and its eligibility.
okay.
They just wanted to finish one of their projects before they come into us.
I don't know if you guys want breaking news, but they found that missing girl in Wisconsin alive.
What?
Jamie Klaus?
Alive?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't know. This is it.
Well, there,
Sorry, folks watching. I mean, so I was like, wow, that's big news.
when? Oh,
I don't know
Cosmo?
much about it. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, back to topic. So for the sites, you know, we have that list. So I mean, at least we got a good start, and we got some history in each one already. So that's always good too. How about Fish Creek? I know that was something to talk about too.
So I would recommend we finish the other county site first. If we do Fish Creek, a lot of the significant archaeological site is on county land. And so I would suggest that we try to find something that's not county land for the next one. Let's see if we can get
Sure.
the
Yeah, 'cause
cemetery
they-
through.
There'd be like, okay, how many?
Yeah.
more
And it would be
sites you
nice
guys
not
can-
to just have
That's good.
publics, our city
Yeah.
site and the count, and their county site. It'd be nice to get some private sites and,
Does the county own the Northern Bridge 7? I guess speaking of county.
I don't know the ownership.
Okay. I'm guessing it's the county, but I don't know for sure if it's the county there. I think it is. Maybe that's something we should figure out on some of these, is who really owns them. I mean, if it's public, entity, it'd be good to know who the entity is that owns them. Most of them are county, right? But some might be city or school district. I don't know, just, I guess, we get farther down. I mean, I don't know how much more we need to talk about it. I think we have a pretty good idea what we're going for, so. Let's see, do we need to take action on that?
So
or-
I don't feel like we have our goals list. I think we need to take a look at the, what staff has suggested as the ongoing goals. Do you
Yes.
want those? In addition, we should definitely add a new site to designate. And then everything
Yes.
below that, we don't have to do. So I think you should think about what could be most important to the city and what excites commissioners to work on, because some of that work would be done outside of the commission in committee meetings.
Well, could we take all the potential goals? I mean, all those things in there would be goals we'd want to do.
So I would really go through which ones do you want to do? Do you want to do the self-guided auto tour, or do you want to start the parks, the story of the parks, or? So I would go one by those
Yeah.
just to see, do you want to work on those or not?
Well, obviously the videos, I think there's already been work done on
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of that. So, I mean, that's pretty much, the auto tour, we still got my walking tour to start from if you want to
So
start.
and so the idea with that is, so I've seen some really wonderful ones that are well-developed, or it's something as simple as, it's just a brochure and it's a map with a number, and you've got if it's a private property, you might need to knock on the door and make sure they're okay with you putting them on the map, and then a paragraph description. So that would be some door knocking and research. So I don't know if anybody's interested in doing that type of work outside the commission meetings.
Yeah, I don't know. This is something to pull in MAHS again, too. They did some work on this. With the 60 stories, Bob had a map. And that's
Yeah.
pretty much an auto tour right there. So it wouldn't be a big jump to turn that into an auto tour. It's already got the map, and you got the stories.
So the question would be, do you want there to be physical structures there, or is the story enough, even though there's no building there anymore, it's just about the story? Well, and we're getting into detail. I think
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
just, do you want to work on that
Yes,
this
I
year
mean,
or
that one's-
not?
I think, sure. I mean, well, the 3 for sure we got to do.
Yeah.
The document history on important buildings in the Gladstone area. Well, that's already on our agenda tonight, so I guess it's already a 2019 goal. So that'd probably be good. I guess 4, if we do it every 5 years, we don't need to
We
do
don't
that
need-
one
yeah, I
yet,
think
right?
Yeah,
I don't know
correct,
what the
yeah.
rest of the commissioners think, but we don't need to do Century Homes quite yet.
Right.
Eventually, we're going to be putting a whole ton of them on a list.
Mm-hmm.
So once we get farther down, might have hundreds of homes that are 100 years old eventually here. So I don't know about 5. Does anybody have any thoughts on 5? Project with the Maplewood Area Historical Society.
My only thought was because the Nature Center is going to do a Gladstone event, if you'd like to partner with them again and have a history booth or do something history related at that event.
Okay.
You could work with with Bob Jensen and the Historical Society that was such a fun evening that we had out there last year. It won't be promoted in the same way. It might not be as big an event, but I felt it was really well
Okay.
received.
Yeah, that would be a good one. What's the topic of that one?
It's just an event. I know Ann at the Nature Center is really going to want to push the natural resource
Okay.
piece. That's her specialty.
Okay.
So we'll try to meld natural resources and history again.
Could you have an event in a different park, like over to Fish Creek River?
So if the society wanted to do an event,
We'll have
and
to
if the
talk to
commission wanted to
society.
do an event, so it really depends on how much people want to do. Staff doesn't have one planned right now. We do a lot of nature events at other sites and community events. So if you wanted just a history event,
I know we can
You could do
partner
it.
with the society, but most of their activities, their calendar is pretty well booked right now. You gotta go earlier if you want, if we wanna do it, but most of us are members anyhow.
Is the city thinking of doing an event, then we can invite the society? Is that what it's, this is more,
Yeah, there's a couple of events that are trying to be scheduled.
okay. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I mean, we can put it as a goal, but if it just doesn't happen, it's not like it's, you know.
When is Wakefield supposed to be done?
Yeah, that's right.
so really, it won't be done until spring. And we're going to be starting work on Frost Avenue in front of Wakefield. So, that will include some work at the park, but the building will be open sometime this spring. They'll probably do a little bit of a grand opening sometime in spring.
Okay.
Oh, I did talk to, this is something else too, talk to the one that runs that train out in Maplewood Mall.
Okay.
He says they can rent that train out. So,
outside the mall? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay.
but somebody in the city would have to line it up.
Okay. Huh, it's a thought. That'd have been good at the Gladstone Savannah.
Yep, that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
about. Having a train ride around
Yeah.
that one weekend.
So yeah, we'd probably want to partner with them, MAHS. I'm sure we will
On something.
for things. 6, call for photos. Why not? That should be every year's goal. You know? Yeah, I think there are so many photos out there that people think that aren't historic, but they are. You know, I always bring up the example of the Halloween blizzard. It's 1991. It's been difficult to find photographs of it. Now, Star Tribune has pictures of it. But everybody took pictures during that Halloween blizzard. They just did. And it's just one little event, but that'd be something like,
Well,
It's hard
9
to
months
find.
after, there was a big event at the hospitals.
what now?
9 months after, there was a
Oh,
big event at
okay.
the hospitals.
Well, we don't have pictures of that probably, but the other things that happened in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, things that don't, it doesn't have to be black and white old, you know, it'd be interesting to have, you know, those kind of pictures too. You know, there might be some, like 4th of July at Wakefield. We don't have any pictures of it, really,
Yeah.
that I know of. And that was there every year. And there's 2,000 people at that place. It was unbelievable, just like Hazelwood is, you know. So, yeah, I mean, any pictures would be good. You know, there's people have them. You know, we probably have some, you know. So, oh, we'll have to think about it. Yeah. You know.
So the other two that were not on this list, but we've talked about tonight, you should decide if you want to go for them, was start collecting history stories of each park.
Yep.
And then the other one was the oldest living resident, honoring the oldest living
Oh, yeah,
resident.
we got to do that. That's something we could probably do every year, too.
I feel like it's not necessarily, unless people are going to want to put a lot of work in, it's too much to be doing a story of parks, documenting important buildings in Gladstone, developing an auto tour. Those are all a little bit of outside research. So if people are interested, great.
Yeah.
So, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
Mr. Cardinal.
So we're going to decide that next month, right?
If you'd like, yeah, we can put all this down and then we can decide.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. We'll put all these down. You'll have time to sleep on it and mull it over and figure out what are you personally interested in doing in terms of a little committee meeting.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea.
Okay. So with that said, if the commission wants to take a final look at these next month, then once they're approved, they will go on the annual report, and then sometime after that, we would take the annual report to city council.
Okay, good. Well, it looks like we got some good goals developing here. We got some fun things. Lots of things going on in 2019, I think. Okay, what's our next thing? Do we have anything under F, unfinished business? No? No visitors. Going on to H, commission presentations. How about that 1375 Frost Avenue there, Mr. Carter?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I mentioned to our staff person, Jenny Gaynor, that I had talked with the guy that owned that building, and he told me it was just a total wreck, they stripped it of everything. And they did so much damage that's why it's going to be torn down. So we had talked about it at our Maplewood Historical Society, and then that there should be something in that building of value, that somebody should be there when that thing is knocked down. So I mentioned it to Jenny, and she said that staff would probably notify you, or, you know. So we don't want to miss that.
No.
So that's the issue there.
And I did a recon of the site after you mentioned it, and then I took a lot of pictures. I gave some to Ginny, or you got some. Bob's absolutely right. It is a complete wreck. It is. He's right. I mean, people broke in. They stripped all the copper, smashed about anything they could pretty much get their hands on. There's nothing inside. It's a shell. Not only that, it's leaking in there. You can hear the water falling into the basement. And it smells like a musty old closet, you know. That said, you know, there's definitely pictures that we can, I mean, I took as many pictures as I could. I didn't go inside, but I could see inside. And, you know, basically what's left of the original town hall is three sides. You got the front and the two sides. The back is gone because they extended it back. So when they tear it down, I'm not sure how they're going to tear it down, but there could be, what I'm guessing is when you peel off the cedar shakes, the interior, what's inside is the old hall, town hall, is inside that. So that's what might be interesting, is what is left of the old clapboard siding. Will we get a picture of it? You know, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think it'd be really helpful for staff if between Mr. Boulay and Mr. Jensen, we can actually do a paragraph helping people who are going to be doing the demolition figure out what it is. If we can show them on the existing footprint where was the original building and what to look at when they're taking, like you just said, when they take the cedar shakes down, what might they see and what might they expose. So I can work with you and Mr. Jensen via email to try to come up with a paragraph or some bullet points to guide that work.
Okay, that'd be good.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be helpful.
you know, like I said, if anybody, I mean, we could probably share the pictures with the commissioners
Yeah.
too. So there's a few interesting things
They're
left
very
there,
interesting.
you know.
And Mr. Jensen has a nice chronology, but I think I'd like to bring that back and do the chronology with the photos. And if we learn any more from Mr. Bastian, then, you know, talk about, you know,
Yeah.
have a little presentation on it so it's more complete.
I was in there twice, maybe
Okay.
3 times.
Okay.
And I did take a bunch of pictures.
Oh, good.
Because I had clients. But I've been looking for them for 3 or 4 months and I can't
Oh,
find them.
no.
I know I had, because I had people thinking of remodeling them,
Oh, sure.
and I took just a ton of pictures.
Okay.
I got some of the exterior,
Were they digital or physical pictures?
digital,
Oh,
digital.
but you're still looking for them?
Yeah, I've got a pile of the little
Thumb drives?
thumb drives that I've gone through them.
Well, if you could find them, that'd be
Someplace
great
I'll
before,
look in, yeah.
yeah, before it was wrecked. You know, it'd be kind of good. Good to see. Yeah, so it's a pity that it wasn't able to be remodeled. I mean, the furniture store did a pretty good job keeping it, kind of sprucing it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was the last real thing that was
That was a
there.
while ago.
That was over 10 years ago now, I suppose, so,
Oh, more than that.
or that, so,
20 something.
20 years? Yeah, so, it's unfortunate, you know, but, yeah, it'd be good to document what we can before it's completely gone, so. There's some mysteries there that I'll have to talk to Bob Jensen about. You know, if anybody wants to hear more about it, I'm not going to take the whole meeting, but there's a lot we already know about it, so that might be good. That's kind of a goal kind of thing. It's just that, I think, is it one of our 60 stories anyway, right?
The town hall is, yeah.
Yeah,
but,
one of 'em.
But we have a much more
There's more than
information,
that.
so I think
That's
it'll be
just a
fun to
snippet.
do a presentation on it
that,
between
we
you
should have
and
a
Bob and-
presentation on the,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So, okay, so, conversely with that, we should probably do the Moose Lodge 2.
Yeah, because, you know, Pete, I got thinking about that. That's one of the reasons I called you over the week. You were gone somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But back in those days, when they probably built it, it was probably around when they did Parkside and what have you. A lot of times it's the members that actually came
Built it,
in
yeah,
and built
yeah.
it. So it's not the cheap laminated stuff.
No,
It's
no, no.
real, and they could have they added on.
They did.
I did Parkside back the squad room.
This brings up, I've always forgot, our visitor, I wrote, what's this?
Jason?
Jason. Did Jason have anything on, would he have any background on, like, the Moose Lodge or anything like that? He seems to find out when they built these things, and
Yeah, he can,
could he do something? Or
I mean,
somebody?
he has
Steve
access
also
to,
said he has the book that has the permits in it.
he has the access to all that
Oh,
stuff, yeah.
okay. Well, that'd be good
So-
to know. Actually, it'd be good to know for 1375, they had, if in case they had permits for upgrades, you know, for going to city water or something.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Mr. Carter?
Steve Carlson mentioned that he's got the old registry.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, at his house or at
At the,
MHS?
at the farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be good to,
Yeah.
be a good
Yeah.
resource for this stuff.
Yeah.
It's better to start with a date than,
Yeah.
A lot of them, you know, we had a contractor basically hired to do it, but the fireman basically laid a lot of we put the decking on the roof
okay?
and on the squad room end of it. Now, the other parts of, I think the old members did it, because we had iron workers, we had bricklayers, and what have you over there.
Well, maybe we'll get some more about that too. Any more on commission presentations? I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. Do we have another thing, or is that? Oh, yeah.
The T,
Tea.
To tea.
Tea. What about the tea?
It's on Saturday. We have two sittings at 10 o'clock, I think it is, and 2:30. The first one is completely filled, and the theme is about recipes, recipes from old times, and they've got a display of different recipe books or pages out of recipe books, and we're going to encourage people to bring their favorite recipe and exchange them. And to me, this is such an interesting thing that they do at the barn, to have two teas, this one and then one in May or June, I believe it is. And they have, you know, like 5 or 6 different settings, different courses, and for the one last year, I had to do dishes, and I tell you, you go through a lot of dishes. But, you know, the food is delicious. Tomorrow, we're going to start cooking it, and I'm not sure what we're going to cook. I know one thing they're going to have is asparagus soup, and then they have their scones, they have their tea, and even as they set these places, you have to have the teacup a certain way with the handle a certain way. And, you know, great fun. They also are going to have bingo, and you can get prizes. And, you know, if any of you haven't been out there, they have done a wonderful job of decorating for Christmas.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
still
It's
decorated
up
for Christmas.
Oh, good. I like Christmas to prolong.
Yeah, it is.
lights.
It's just beautiful, and they really go to a lot of work. And then, I don't know if we had talked about, too, also, they had done a breakfast with Santa. They've done some really neat things around the Christmas time, plus their open house. But I took the grandkids to the thing with Santa, and the kids thought breakfast with Santa was just great fun. So, you know, we've got a lot of fun things ahead, and, you know, if your wives want a good time, tell them they can come at 2:30 for tea, so.
But call ahead, make sure there's
Yeah,
openings,
call
and there is
ahead.
Have
a,
reservations.
and there is a
Right,
fee.
you have to have
Yeah.
Nope,
reservations.
there's only so many spots.
Only so many chairs
Only
to
so
sit
many
in.
chairs. Yep. Well, thank you. That's it's always good to know.
The barn this time.
No,
Brr. Well, you know what? Traveling Saturday shouldn't be a problem. So, you know, we're having a pretty open January so far. I think that's it for commission presentations, unless I'm missing anything. Staff presentations. Number one. The next HPC is on Valentine's Day.
So it's up to the HPC if people want to meet as scheduled or change our meeting date. So if you, a couple options, meet as scheduled. If possible, we could potentially meet early if people needed to get home for family celebrations, or we could potentially change the meeting date to one of the following. The week before, we could meet in council chambers Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And the week of, if we changed our date, we could meet Tuesday or Wednesday, council chambers. It looks like it's free as well.
Good question. Well, I don't want to meet on Valentine's Day.
I vote to keep it the same.
Okay, well, we have one vote to keep it the same, one vote to change it.
How many people would be able to attend? We'd want to know if we have a quorum.
You guys can carry on without me. I don't need to be here.
I'm not going to be here either. I'm going to be out of town.
I've got to ask if we're going to vote on the Heritage Award that night.
Oh, good question.
That was the key thing on the agenda, and that was why the suggestion was, well, if we at least voted on that and left early, potentially, but if we have that in goals,
What about 2/13, night before? I'd be okay with that night. It's not that big of a change, is it?
I got a show that
You
night.
got a show?
And I'm going to be gone.
You're going to be gone? Okay, there's two that can't.
Right, what's
Wednesday, 2/6,
Thursday before, the 7th?
and I won't be there for that one.
Okay.
Well, I guess I could be, if everybody wants to be there Thursday the 7th. Wait, what's
The first
Is
Thursday.
that the first Thursday? Can everybody be there then?
I can.
Okay, I got another meeting, but I could be here for it. What do you think? 7?
Yep. Can everybody else?
Yeah. What about the 7th?
You, Mr. Curry,
Yes.
As far as I know right now.
and
Far as you know?
Frank, Maybe
Yeah.
Frank can make it.
We'll have to.
so our next,
That's the next
that's
agenda.
next on the agenda item, yeah. So it looks like Thursday, the 7th, I will make sure that I will try to confirm that, and if there's any issues with that, I will email the commissioners, but at this point, let's plan on that, 7 PM, same time? Okay.
It just means Jenny's gonna have to get the
Pack it up sooner.
packets
Well-
ready 1 week ahead of time.
Al.
Right, and so it might not be an extensive packet, it might just be the awards and the goals.
The award is a big enough thing to do. I mean, we got a lot on that one. Yes, Mr. Cardinal.
Press.
Yep.
Mr. Chair.
Don't call me president.
I'm sorry. You know,
Yes,
I was past president, I guess. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
what if we looked at the 21st?
There's like 3 commission meetings that following week, so we would not be able to have the room.
Okay.
There's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh,
The
Yeah.
third? The third week? Okay, Mr. Chair.
yes, sir.
So let's say that somebody cannot make that meeting. How are we going to vote for the Heritage Award?
Well, we've
We phone in our vote to you.
there's been one where I missed a meeting, and I think I put in my vote as proxy before it.
Yeah,
I think we've done that before.
yeah.
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 Yeah, we've
The
given
thing is, if
people,
it goes to a second time of voting, if it's that, your vote only counts that first time.
Yeah. Well, we could. I mean,
if for some reason we didn't vote, we would just do it the next month, and it would just
Yeah.
push it back a month.
we might have to. Yeah,
So-
we have to delay it if there's a tie or something.
Well, what would it, do we have anything? Okay, so,
Well, the thing is, we don't have the candidate or
Yeah.
anybody out here right now, so
we're
we
going to do a
can't be thinking.
two-month deal? So we're going to,
I don't know what we usually have we done the candidate list then vote the next month or
No, so far there have been 4 nominees.
yeah.
The
We've already-
commission made 3,
Yep.
and I had received one other one.
Okay, so we do have.
So we
a-
have 4 nominees, and,
All right.
yeah,
So we have enough to vote on next.
yeah.
Next meeting.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, so if we can't make it, can we vote, can we call in, like you did last
I
time?
think that'd be fine.
I think that's fine, and I think, you could email staff your vote and the chair.
Yeah.
And if the commission's fine with that, I don't see any issues at all with that.
Yeah, I might have a problem on that day.
What we-
as I think about it.
I think what we did before was like we did like a ranked voting if you couldn't attend.
Yeah.
So your first, second, third. That's what we did.
Yeah.
And that worked out okay, I think. You know.
And then the chair could place your vote for you based on that ranking.
All right.
I think we had a lot more last time,
Yeah.
too.
A lot more candidates. Yeah, we had a busy. Yeah, well, we got 4, so that
And
should be
so
enough.
the nominations are due the 31st. So the packet, let's see, we'll go out, one moment, please.
I know I got a conflict on the 7th.
Oh, you do. Anybody else got a conflict on the 7th? You know.
I won't send, so the 31st is a Thursday, so the packet won't go out until Friday. I mean, the packet will be ready to go, but if anybody is nominated last minute, we'll add that to the
Okay.
packet, so the packet won't go out until the Friday before the
Okay.
meeting, which is fine. But do any other dates work for everybody?
Yeah,
Or so
I'm
we-
trying to think of the other dates. I don't know. Well, Wednesday 2/6.
That works.
I think I could be there.
Okay.
You got a meeting?
You got, you got some, yeah? Can you be there?
No,
No.
not on the 6th.
Okay. How about these are the possibilities.
These are the possibilities within that 2-week frame. The following week just doesn't work. So if we really were to, if we have 4 candidates, we'll be looking at the bullet, we'll have bullet points about who they are.
What did you say about the following week?
There were 3 commission meetings, so we can't do it here
Oh, we
Monday,
can't.
Tuesday, or
Okay.
Wednesday.
Okay.
For some reason, I didn't think Thursday was going to work either. Let's see. One moment, I'll check. You know, I'm not sure about Thursday, the 21st.
I'd have to check on that one. I don't know. That's now you're too far out for me to know what.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could work. I don't know.
I think my only other suggestion for us was if we kept it to an hour meeting and if people could get here at 5:30 and be done at 6:30.
On the
that might
14th?
on the regular day.
Can you do that,
But
Pete?
I don't know if that would ruin family
I don't
get-togethers.
know.
I don't want anybody to be in trouble with their spouse and kids.
I'm fine.
Your
I
wife
live
is
close by,
okay?
so.
Like I said, you guys. Well, you're going to be gone, Margaret, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the-
So two people
I leave the
would be gone.
13th.
Yeah. Huh? You're gone on the 13th. I mean, Margaret and I could be gone, but
I
you
mean,
have
I'd
too
leave my
short.
vote.
Huh? I'm one vote too.
So the best we've done is, I think, Thursday, the 7th, with one person missing. Is that correct?
On the 7th, right?
Yeah.
And the 6th would be one person. Now Tuesday, the 5th. What about that one? I can't remember. There's
That's the first Tuesday.
first Tuesday. What am I thinking of that one?
It's a Parks Commission meeting or something there.
No,
No.
it's on the list because because council chambers looks like it's free.
Try to think. I might be able to make that one. 2-5. How about you guys? 2-5.
I'm good on 2-5.
Richard?
So far as I know right now, yeah.
I think that would work. There's something bugging me about that date, but I don't know what it is.
Wednesdays and
That's the first Tuesday.
First Tuesday. The second Tuesday, I got a meeting, but not the first Tuesday.
So what if we say 2-5, but Pete will double check?
Yeah.
And if he can't
2-5
do it.
maybe
2-5?
2-5. How about tomorrow? No.
It has to be after the nominations are
okay.
due. 2-5.
2-5.
I think 2-7 would be our backup.
It's Friday.
I'm kidding.
And then I will confirm that with everybody after Pete emails me and I double check
Okay.
the council and the videographer schedule, okay?
2-5. Well, at least we get our vote of the award early in that way, which is nice.
helps
We
us a
always
little
kind of
bit.
run up against a clock issue.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Chair?
Yes, Mr. Colonel.
When we do that, is the camera off so we don't let anybody else know how that vote goes? I
We
can't-
usually do a paper ballot.
We do a paper
Yeah.
Yeah,
ballot.
but
we don't,
it
we don't
has,
announce.
once it's voted, it has to be out.
My only suggestion, if you have a nomination, be sure that nominee would accept the award before we vote. That's what I always say. Yeah. What I'm doing, want to do, yeah.
Because yes, I did want it to be more of a surprise, bring him in.
Well, it could still be a little bit of a surprise.
Well, no,
but-
because it has to be out.
Yeah, they gotta,
Publicize it. I wanted it to be more of a surprise for the person bringing. Come on, Jenny or Johnny or whatever.
I think you should have all four of them be there and they walk back and forth and then hand it to the winner. Is that better? No.
Eliminate them
No.
one at a time. You're gone.
Well, if well, yeah, if you'd have all of them
No.
here, then you could. not
I don't
say
think so.
nothing.
Runner up is.
Anyway, okay, so 2-5 it is until, well, we'll double check.
It's a Tuesday.
All right, that's,
First Tuesday.
yep. Okay, another,
Move for.
well, we got
adjournment.
one more thing. I-2.
Yeah, so I'm really sad to announce that Frank Gilbertson is resigning from the commission. Pete and I tried to get him to postpone that, delay that, but we haven't heard back from him, so I'm thinking that means he's done. He's been an amazing participant here. So I think the other thing I'll bring to our next meeting is a resolution of appreciation for him. So we'll really be really sad. We'll really miss him.
His term expired in April, so he could
It
come back.
expired in April,
Yeah, he can
and
come back two more times if you'd like.
yeah,
Yeah.
give him a call. So I will be talking with our administrative staff here. I know they just had posted in the last newsletter for other commissions that had openings.
Yeah, I guess.
And so they probably won't do commission applications, they probably won't review them, council probably won't review them until late February or early March. And so if that's the case, there may be an opportunity for us to post this and have
Okay.
someone apply for this. So,
right.
let you know.
Thanks, Jenny. All right, now we could have motion.
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I think we should work for another hour or two.
Oh, come on, Richard.
Have our next meeting just go on from this one. There we